This is Mark and Charity's Coffee Podcast.
In the center of the podcasting world, Belleville, Ontario.
Is it the center?
The way I look at it,
Okay.
you put it on a
No, I'm
picture.
just asking.
you
Yep, absolutely.
Spin the globe
Okay.
right.
Sounds good.
Smack dab in the middle. It's Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast for Monday, March 28th, the day the world went crazy because of the Academy Awards.
Yep, pretty much.
I've been hearing so many different views of it.
Well, and I think
And
that will
most of it,
continue for
the
a
Chris
while.
Rock Will Smith thing, and we'll get into that obviously.
Yeah, not because
it's-
of not because of who won.
Yeah.
Usually, the controversy is over who won Best Picture. Should they have won? Shouldn't they have won? You know, this picture was better, and then people get heated over that. But yeah, it didn't even have to do with an award this year. It was what was going on,
not
and
like-
not even in the crowd. Nobody got
Yeah.
rowdy and started arguing in the crowd. This was on stage in front of everybody. So.
No, like they didn't say La La Land and get it wrong.
Exactly. Like that faux pas, or miss somebody in the memoriam, or it wasn't that. It was
Did they miss
a
anybody?
bigger one.
I saw somebody.
I don't know, to be honest, because usually that's one of the headlines. And
Right.
honestly, the headline this year was how good it was. Sidney Poitier was honored, and so was Helena. I apologize, from Rust.
Yeah.
The cinematographer that was shot, she was honored as well. And there's been some highlights pointing those people out,
Right.
those honors, but nothing negative, nothing about missing anybody or questionable
I saw
addition.
trending tweets on Twitter called in memoriam. I thought, who'd they forget? Because that's usually
Mm-hmm.
what it. But I didn't bother to look because there was so much else to talk about.
That kind of fell to the wayside,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And that's one of the opinions coming out of today that, there were some really great moments last night, and now they're kind of being overshadowed. And Jimmy said that too, especially with Coda. Coda was the big winner. And I say big winner, they didn't win the most awards. Dune won the most awards. It won 6 awards throughout the evening. But none of the big ones. So you kind of miss that. But Coda won Best Picture and won for their supporting performances. So they were the big winners considering they won the Best Film. And it's the first time that a streaming film has won. This film's never been in theaters.
That's correct.
It was released on Apple TV Plus. And that was a first for the Oscars last night.
I read an article on the weekend, and the headline was "People in Hollywood." I should remember. People in Hollywood don't know how many people watch streams. And the article was like, they need to start paying attention.
Absolutely.
Because they seem to think that because it wasn't in a movie theater, nobody had a chance to see Coda. And the argument is more people saw Coda because it was streaming than would have gone to see that movie had it been in the theater.
I still haven't seen it, though.
Yeah.
I'd like to.
And that's true.
Because I like
Yeah.
Marlee Matlin, and she's in it. I haven't yet.
See, I wish we had the streaming numbers for Coda and then put that up against how many people went and saw West Side Story at the movie theater. And my guess is West Side Story would have been dwarfed in the numbers.
Well, it was even in theaters.
So-
It fell down hard.
And the other thought is that they really didn't think, and they're not sure, how people in the Academy would vote for a movie that had never been at a theater. And it seems like they're quite comfortable doing it because it won.
Yeah.
So that's going to totally shift how some of the quote-unquote old guard
Exactly.
view this new Netflix
It
streaming
kind of
service.
shows that the quality isn't diminished at all.
Oh, no. Because remember,
Still
Steven
the same.
Spielberg, it wasn't that long ago, was it 3 or 4 years, said, no, Netflix movies should never be up for Best Picture. And now look.
Well, and I think, too, because the TV stigma is attached to it, of course. You're
Yep.
not watching
Yep.
it in a theater,
Yep.
which is what movies were tied to for so long. You have to go see a movie in a theater. You go to the theater to see a movie. You don't watch a movie on TV. You rent a movie and enjoy a movie, but you don't go see a movie on TV. And you're right. Now that's changing. It's shifting. Movies are being made specifically for home viewing now. And Hollywood's kind of catching up to that
I think in
finally.
some ways the story becomes more important than the stars now because Coda wins for just a great story. There's no blockbuster
there's no big
people
names.
in it.
Yeah.
Before it used to be, okay, if Tom Hanks was in it, I'll go see it. And it's probably going to be a good movie because he's in it. But it's not as important. What's the movie about? What doesn't matter, Tom? You start streaming based on the people in the movie. Now they're starting to make movies because it's a good story again. And I applaud that. I think that's great.
I was going to say we were getting back to that, but I don't know that necessarily that was ever the case. But yes, the content is becoming what draws people in rather than, as you just said, the people.
You take a
the
look
face.
A movie like Parasite, for example, when it won Best Picture and it had subtitles, it was a South Korean film, Best Picture. Now Coda, it's a streaming movie, is the Best Picture. So we'll see how Hollywood reacts to all of this, which might be much ado about nothing. Might be they'll just keep doing what they do.
I think they see the benefit to it for sure.
Well, I think they should, but we'll see whether the Steven Spielberg old guard that don't believe
Martin
in it.
Scorsese.
Right. So what are they going to do? And I'm not saying he's going to jump ship and say, I'm going to put everything on TV. But let's see what projects start getting picked up and dropped. And especially when Steven Spielberg was up and just got it all his lunch handed to him.
Exactly.
The West Side Story. I mean, he got Ariana DeBose for Best Supporting Actress.
Yeah.
That's great. But, he didn't win for directing. The movie didn't win. We'll see what happens. And then the biggest slap, not the biggest slap, because I know who got the biggest slap in the face. Oh, stop it, Mark. Was the fact that they created a fan favorite category.
Oh my God.
And Spider-Man still doesn't win.
This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. I am disgusted. I am disgusted in so many ways because honestly, I felt Spider-Man should have been nominated for film too. But after the backlash, when the nominees were announced, the Oscars or the Academy Awards felt, hey, you know what we'll do then? We'll add this category. It doesn't actually get anything or it doesn't mean anything and it's not going to be presented the night of. But we'll include Spider-Man in this. So it was their fan favorite on Twitter. You could vote up to 20 times a day. Didn't matter how many times you voted. You could, and they opened it up and anybody could vote. And for a while there, Cinderella, Camila Cabello's was in the running. Of course, everyone thought, okay, now Spider-Man's going to be recognized and everybody's going to bombard and maybe the Oscars will take note. No, some stupid little film featuring Dax from Guardians of the Galaxy. David Bautista. Have you seen this film?
No.
It is ridiculous.
Okay.
Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead.
Right. Yep.
One fan favorite.
Right.
Again,
good work.
Adds credit to the Academy Awards. That being said, the other big winners, we touched on Coda, winning Best Picture, supporting actor or actor went to Troy Kutzer, again of Coda. You mentioned the West Side Story, Best Supporting Actress winner. In a lead role, we'll get back to that. In a lead role for actress Jessica Chastain, which I called, one for Eyes of Tammy Faye. Directing went to Jane Campion, which we both knew, for The Power of the Dog. And then the leading actor went to Will Smith. Called it.
So,
but a little bit of controversy before he won it.
That's really something. And if you're just checking into the podcast, good morning. Check your social media because it's everywhere.
Yes.
So Chris Rock made the quip about his wife, Will Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, who suffers from a disease which has cost her hair.
Causes her hair to fall out. So she shaves it now.
Yeah, she just shaved it.
Yep. And it's been like this for a while.
Right.
Like it's not new. She's had this look for quite a while and talked about it.
Talked about, this is why I wear turbans, for example, out in the sun of L.A. to protect myself. And so it's okay. And, so Chris Rock, makes the quip about, can't wait for G.I. Jane 2, making fun of the fact that she doesn't have any hair. Yep. And though he initially kind of chuckled, I think he felt his wife bristle beside him. And for Will Smith, that was it. And he went up, slapped him pretty good on the face. And people thought that might have been in on it at first. Clearly was not. And now here we are. And
that's what everybody's talking about today.
And
is Will Smith smacking Chris Rock.
And my initial reaction is good for him. And you know what? I think I'm in the vast minority of people who feel that he should not have done that and should have. My whole thing is, my wife was embarrassed on national television and a man got up and defended his wife, and I'm all for it.
Yep.
That's just my view.
No, and I applaud you for that view. It's been an interesting morning reading and hearing and talking about it because I agree with you. I do. I think he had every right to do that. I commend him for, I don't want to say sticking up for his wife though. I feel he himself was offended by it too, and that's how he acted. Yeah. And that's why he acted. I don't think Jada Pinkett Smith necessarily needs Will Smith to stick up for her.
That's exactly the point.
But he felt himself that was the right thing to do, and I commend him for that. I see the other side of it though too, because I have read and I have heard and talked about that other side of, was it the right thing to do on national TV? I don't know. I think he reacted, and that's how he felt. And at the time, I think it was. The greater scheme of things, I understand where some people may see that and take it the wrong way. I understand that people may see that and think that now it's okay to go around hitting people. I think they're missing the point,
They're
too.
completely missing the point.
Yeah.
And to your point, the best thing you shouldn't have done on national TV. Well, think twice before you mock my wife on national TV.
Yes.
Again.
Exactly.
Because Chris Rock has a history with the Smith family of taking them on. There was no reason for him to make it. He went off script. It had nothing to do with any of the other jokes he was doing.
Yeah, he didn't have that in his rehearsals. They say that. He didn't include that in rehearsals.
And he decides to throw that thing out there, then,
And honestly, it wasn't a funny joke.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't. I read it, and I've seen him say it before any of that, and it just was it necessary? Because watching the 3 female hosts, which again, another moment last night, which was a first for Oscars, and I felt that maybe they should have gotten some of acknowledgement for their part. They were very funny. Any clips I've seen of Amy Schumer, and she mentions people by name too, Regina King or Wanda Sykes. It was funny. It was lighthearted teasing.
Yep.
I've never found Chris Rock lighthearted or teasing in any way. And I'm sure if he was teasing, it would have been taken differently. But that wasn't teasing. It was just a comment that didn't need to be made and wasn't that funny. Yeah. So why?
And the notion that, you just have to take the joke. And again, as a guy.
He said that Will Smith said that. Yeah.
As a guy whose wife is ill with a condition, if she was mocked for that condition on national television in front of the world at the Academy Awards, and I was able to get on stage, and I am as big as pacifist as I know, Chris Rock would not have gotten up. I would have kept going. Because I've been there when my wife has gone through things, and it's not a punchline at the Academy Awards. And I'm sorry, I guess, and I don't condone violence, you know me, but my God, if a man can't stand up and defend his wife, then really, where are we? Where are we? Because I back families. I think families are the most important thing. And if a man can't defend his family against some sort of he was never going to kill him. He slapped him in the face, and now there's word Chris Rock may press charges. Could you be a bigger jerk?
No, I don't think he is. I don't think he will, and I don't think he has come out and said that. It's people putting it out there,
right?
That not even his people. I think people in general, like Jimmy Hollywood, I think, and I hate to say it because we're part of it, but I think the media has jumped a hold of that and said, he could press charges. Yeah. Well, of course he could, but is he going to? He won't, because he knows. He's been silent this whole time, and I know you called him a coward, and that may be part of it.
Because he hasn't apologized.
I think he's been silent and he should have apologized at this point. But my thought is, it's not because he's going to try to counteract and come back at them and press charges. I think he just is processing it all, and he's like, oh, Jesus, I need to stop and reflect and think about it. I hope he's thinking about this anyway, and choosing his next words carefully, as opposed to making a joke out of it or coming back fighting, because no, he was in the wrong, clearly.
Yeah. And if people are looking for the teaching moment that say, oh, you know what, we can't condone violence, but it's like, you know what, Dad, if I were to be openly mocked and humiliated like that on television, would you defend me? And you can say, yeah, I don't know if I punched the guy, but I'd be there for you and I'd defend my. That's the moment.
We had this conversation last week with my son.
Yeah.
He has asked me more than once.
Yeah,
He's like, would you not be upset with me if I fought someone? I said, I would be upset with you if you picked a fight, 100%. If you were picking on someone, of course. I said, but if you are defending yourself, at no point am I ever going to be upset with you. I will back you 100% if you are defending yourself. You don't let people hurt you. You don't let people hurt those around you. Is violence the answer? Of course not. And we teach that too. Use your words. But I am a realist, and I am not naive enough to think that that's going to work every time.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you need to hurt somebody or injure that person, but Will Smith slapped him. And I think out of anything, and to be honest, looking at it, it wasn't a hard slap.
Yeah, I give him credit for restraint.
It didn't knock him over. It didn't, to me, hurt him. It woke him up, I think. And that's kind of the point. Wake the person up and just realize, stop. Like, enough's enough.
And the last point that's in my head, I never brought up on the air because it's very highly charged, and I didn't want to go down the road. So I'll save it for that. Is this happened in Hollywood, where the Me Too movement and the treatment of women
Yeah.
Now, let's put it in the context of how women are treated in Hollywood, and she with a disability is mocked at the Academy Awards. And her husband got up and said, enough is enough. So are we really going to put all the blame on Will Smith? Not a chance. He doesn't own an ounce of it in my regard.
Well, I would like to think that the majority of the blame is not on Will Smith. Because honestly, most of the stuff I've seen this morning has been, it's been more shining a light on the fact that it happened.
Yeah.
But nobody has said he was in the wrong from what I've read. I realize it's out there and some people do take that stance, but I certainly don't feel he was in the wrong. And then he got up he did win the Oscar later on, and he got up there and he apologized. Not to Chris Rock.
Right.
But he apologized to everybody else and just said, and because I think he acknowledges that maybe not the right time or wasn't the moment to do it and maybe made it awkward for other people. I think he was just acknowledging that. Do I think he should have? I don't know. I think, again, he was doing what he felt was the right thing for him to do at the time. And I applaud him for it.
Yeah, or reacted.
It showed humility and integrity, I think, on his part, and a maturity. And I think a lot more of Will Smith after last night.
So do I, because I mean, I've kind of been there, and I really don't care what anybody thinks. You come from my wife, you come through me first. Sorry, you come from my family, you come through me first. And it's not the first time, and you picked the worst time again to do it so publicly. You're just going to get what you get, and I'm not going to apologize.
Well, and there's the argument,
the two of them slept well together last night.
Oh, certainly they did.
Because she knows her husband's, for all the crazy stuff they've gone through. And I would be interested to know women's answer. How would you feel if your husband stepped up and did something like that to defend you? Would you be mad that because you didn't feel you needed defending? Or holy smokes, he just got up and did that?
And that's the thing. I don't know if it was necessarily defending, but taking offense to it as well.
Yeah.
Like feeling for, being empathetic for your partner. When I think of defending, I always think of danger. And to a point, it was. Because she was being accosted in some way. She was being pointed out, centered out. But I think he himself felt offended. I think he was defending not only his wife, but his family, himself too. Because you take a shot at her, you take a shot at me.
Exactly. And
that's not right.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Like if you want to take a shot, I'm the one up for the Academy Award. Take a shot at me.
Yeah.
Make fun of her condition because of her health.
Why are you even talking about her? She has nothing to do with tonight. It's me. I'm the nominated one. It's my film. It's my she's just here supporting me, and yet you're
bang
on her.
Yeah. So I'm all for it. I think it's great. I think it really just shines a light. I think it's great. In a crazy world where quote unquote bullies are taking over countries and everything, somebody stood up and defended somebody. And so was it the best way? I don't care at this point. I'm just glad somebody did. Because nobody really got hurt.
Well, and look at today. No, and that's my point. His award. He didn't hurt Chris Rock, I would say.
Because I would have tried to.
He woke him up. He kind of brought him back and said, no, like, stop. We're done. Because like I said, it doesn't look like a hard, like it made contact. Could he have hit him harder? Probably. And I had to watch it a couple of times, and his hand is open just to make sure it wasn't like a punch.
It'll be a great meme though. That picture is a fabulous meme.
It's going to be talked about, and everybody's talking about it, of course, today. And this discussion, as you said, is great, and it needs to happen, and people do need to talk about moments like this. But I think, it will continue, and it will become a meme. And
I'm okay with being wrong. If the answer is no, he never should have done that, and that is assault, and he's going to get fined for it. Okay. I'm okay with him being wrong, but I've been in his situation, so I know what he was thinking, and I applaud you for doing it. I applaud you for defending your family.
I don't think it's as easy as right and wrong.
Yeah,
I really don't.
Maybe.
And yes, he could be charged with assault. Everybody saw it. Like he did hit this person.
Yeah.
So yes, there's always that to it. Will it come to fruition? I would highly doubt it. And I think enough people would be upset that would never happen. I think Chris Rock is smart enough to realize that that's not going to happen. That's not the right move.
If he doesn't reach out to Will and Jada today, then this one is totally on him at this point.
And
Not that they have to smooth it out, but it's like, dude, you own some of this.
Well, and I expect he will. If he does it privately, I would think more of him. if he did just do it privately, not necessarily quietly, because I think it's now in Will and Jada's court, but if he himself, it's when they make a big deal about it.
Right.
Like I say, we haven't heard anything. That's not to say he hasn't done it.
Yeah.
He may have called them. He may have seen them after the show, and they may have had a discussion already, which I hope they do.
Yeah. So that's where we are now. So that's it.
What's going to happen next year?
I don't know. It's 2022, and there's just,
I can't wait for next year now.
There's just more. I may watch it next year
I know,
now
right?
because I never watch it. So interesting. So interesting. So Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast here on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Link to our social media sites. You can text us anytime for an AMA and ask me anything at 613-962-0955 this Monday, March the 28th. Back at it again tomorrow morning. Enjoy your day.